Welcome to the deep dive.
Yeah.
You know how sometimes you stumble across something like totally trivial knowledge-wise, but it's put together so neatly it feels important?
Mm-hmm.
Well, today we're diving straight into that feeling. We're talking dad jokes, puns, organized silliness, basically the good stuff.
That's right. We got a request to look into the formal collection, even categorization of this kind of humor, and our main source is a fascinating book. I think it's a sign that the pun also rises by Mark Leslie.
Yeah.
So our mission today, unpack how someone actually built a system around, well, groaners.
And the dedication, right off the bat, tells you a lot. He thanks his two fathers, Eugene Lionel Lefebvre and Edward Jean, for, and I quote, relentless inspiration in manufacturing and delivering groaners. It's like baked in from the start. Family tradition.
Exactly. It grounds the whole thing, doesn't it? It's not just abstract humor theory, it's personal. It turns a quick joke into something, well, almost like a field study.
Okay, so let's get into the origin story because it's pretty unique. The author, Mark Leslie, moves into this house in Waterloo, Ontario, 2017, I think.
Yeah, with his partner Liz.
And the key thing is what he brought with him. Books, sure,
Right.
but also skeletons.
Right. Which makes sense when, you know, his background writing horror and macabre stuff, like One Hand Screaming.
So this wasn't just like a quirky decoration.
No, not at all. He mentions the main skeleton, Barnaby Bones, was sort of a beacon for horror fans, but also maybe a bit of a, like, proceed with caution sign for everyone else, a hint about their sense of humor.
And they really embraced it, didn't they? Especially Halloween. The source mentions these big pun-filled displays.
Oh, yeah. Boney Island, like Coney Island.
Okay.
And their version of Woodstock, Bone Stock.
Bone stock, of course. So they're building this, like, neighborhood reputation for elaborate silliness.
Exactly. Intentional silliness. But the daily joke thing, that pivot, it wasn't just for laughs initially. It came out of the pandemic, March 2020.
Right. COVID hits. Everyone's stressed, anxious, doing those aimless walks just to get outside.
And he noticed that. He wanted to do something to, like, break the tension.
So the first thing wasn't even a pun, was it? It was that Monty Python reference.
Yeah, the Ministry of Silly Walk sign, encouraging people to just be ridiculous for a second. No fines for not complying.
People loved it. But you can't just leave one sign up forever.
Right. Needed daily content. So Liz, his partner, made a chalkboard sign, and that's when the daily pun routine started.
But then, the classic problem. Rain.
Wiping out the jokes.
And this is where the community steps in, which I think is really cool. Neighbors actually suggested moving it.
Yeah, put it under the garage eave to keep it dry. A crowdsourced solution.
It's small, but it shows people were invested. You know, they weren't just reading the jokes. They were helping keep the project going.
And that's the bridge, really, from this physical community thing to something more systematic. He needed structure to keep it going daily.
Enter the spreadsheet.
Exactly. He started tracking every joke he found, every joke he used. In a Google sheet he calls his
database.
database, yeah.
Which is a great plan in itself, but he also set rules. Right. Especially about the type of humor.
Crucial point. Because there's an elementary school nearby, so no bathroom humor, nothing adult, just clean, universal groaners.
So that constraint actually defines the whole collection, doesn't it? It has to be low stakes, accessible humor. Humor that brings people together, not pushes them away.
Precisely. It's structure born from necessity and community awareness. So if you connect that database, that system, to the book itself, it's clear this isn't just throwing jokes onto pages. It's structured.
Right.
He organizes them by theme. Chapters like meta jokes, shower thoughts, music, language. It actually gives you insight into how this humor works.
Okay, let's dig into that. The mechanics. Starting with meta jokes, the jokes about jokes. This seems like where he lays down the definitions.
Totally. Look at how they measure a dad joke. Not with laughter, but with
This is Meiger graph.
a Sizemore graph. It's formalizing the reaction, the groan, as the key indicator.
Okay, I like that. And the definition of when a regular joke becomes a dad joke.
It's when the punchline becomes apparent.
Ah, so the predictability, the obviousness, that's the point. It's not about surprise.
Exactly. It leans into the expected groan. And he even categorizes the tellers. If you tell dad jokes but don't have kids.
You're a faux pas.
A faux pas.
So moving on to language and grammar puns, this feels like fertile ground.
Oh, absolutely. English is full of weird stuff, right? Words with multiple meanings, words that sound the same. That's where groaners live.
Like the example about the kleptomaniac and the literalist. The difference is just a comma.
The The literalist takes things literally
Mhm.
versus the kleptomaniac takes things literally. Punctuation changes everything.
It does. So why is that funny? Playing with those little linguistic rules.
Well, the source points out how often we just accept the weirdness.
Or, I'm not content with this content.
I object to that object. Dad humor, kind of, forces you to notice how messy the language actually is.
And the really simple ones, based purely on sound. Like,
Dark is spelled with a K because you can't see in the dark.
right. You instantly see it or hear it. That little click of recognition followed immediately by the groan. It's like a tiny cognitive dissonance bomb.
A very specific, very structured dissonance bomb.
Yeah. Okay, so shifting gears a bit. From the structure of the puns to the structure of the observations, the thematic stuff, these are the jokes that give you that little aha moment.
Yeah. The quick, surprising bits of knowledge or perspective shifts. You find a lot of these in the Amusing Reflections chapter. They kind of nudge your view of everyday things.
Like the traffic one, that one really stuck with me. You are not stuck in traffic.
Yeah.
You are traffic.
Boom. Instant reframe. 4 words. It's so simple, but yeah, it changes how you think about it.
Or the factual ones, the ones that make you go, huh, really? Like, if you start counting from 0, your lips won't press together until you reach 1 million.
Wait, really? Okay, I'm gonna have to try that later. That's exactly the kind of delightful, useless fact I love.
Me too. It makes you stop and engage for a second.
And then there's the universally relatable stuff, like the grocery store memory laughs.
Oh, yeah. Nothing refreshes my memory of what I need at the grocery store like that moment when I've just arrived home from the grocery store.
Everyone's been there. It validates that shared experience.
And fundamentally, that's the goal, right? The author said he wanted to provide an escape from a divisive, anxious world. These observations, they're unifying because they tap into things we all kind of recognize. Purely low-stakes connection.
Then you've got the shower thoughts. Those weird random insights that pop into your head when you're alone.
Right, the philosophical or just plain silly musings, like the one about eating and drinking. Oh yeah, why is it that you can drink your drink but you can't food your food?
Huh. The sheer unfairness of language.
It makes no sense. Or questioning if an elevator's still an elevator when it's going down.
Exactly. It makes you think about the word itself, the label versus the function.
Yeah.
The Latin root, even.
And the visual one. Have you ever noticed that the word bed is shaped like a type of bed?
That's almost like taking the structural analysis of language and applying it to the letters themselves.
Yeah.
A visual pun.
Yeah, it is. Okay, and finally the classics. The silly joke walks into a bar structure.
Yeah, where the setup is familiar, but the pun is the payload.
Yeah.
Often escalating the stakes somehow. The neutron joke.
Perfect physics pun. A neutron walks into a bar, asks the price of a beer. Bartender says, "For you, no charge." Concise, clever, fits the format perfectly.
And we have to touch on the Halloween ones, connecting back to his darker side.
Right. Even the puns sometimes have that macabre twist, like the wolf learning to meditate,
He becomes a werewolf. Subtle, but it's there.
or that really dark one about his own end goal, his wish for a smoking hot body.
Being cremated is my last hope. Oof, that's definitely got his signature dark humor, even wrapped in a pun.
But even the darkest ones still follow the pun rules, you know? It all comes back to that core goal he had with the sign. Provide a tiny escape. A moment away from all the anxiety, the division in the world. Not with anything heavy, just a simple pun.
So when you pull it all together, this deep dive really shows that even, the simplest humor, puns, dad jokes, groaners, it actually thrives on structure.
Yeah.
It needs classification, it needs intention, and as we saw with the chalkboard, it often needs community participation to really work. The author took these sort of random, fleeting jokes and turned them into this codified, database. And organizing them like that actually makes them more universal somehow.
Yeah.
And his final hope for the book is pretty simple, really. Just wants it to bring smiles and laughter.
So here's something to think about, maybe for you listening. The author mentioned the world feeling so divisive lately, and his little public joke board filled with these super simple, low-stakes, universal groaners. It worked. It brought people together, even just for a moment. So maybe, just maybe, this kind of humor, the eye-roll kind, is actually a pretty effective and simple community-building tool, especially now. Something to consider next time you face a pun.
And definitely something to consider.
May your day include many smiles and much laughter.